Right, welcome back to the channel. Not in the lane like we usually are. Today, as you can see, the Sea Owl is parked in this little car park, and this is Stourport-on-Severn. And I thought I'd take you a little trip around to see this little Georgian riverside town, which is in the area of Warwick Forest. And it's quite an interesting place. And you might say, why has it got these huge green fields? You can see them going off there into the distance, an overflow car park. Why would a small town, which has got about 20,000 people I think, need such facilities? Well, that's because it's actually a day tripper destination and holiday destination for people in the actually from South Birmingham especially. So what we're going to do, I'm going to jump on the little Sea Owl and give you a little trip round and show you why people would want to come to Stourport for the day. Sea Owl's behaving itself really well. Enjoying it as ever. And I thought I'd take you a little trip around to see the delights of Stourport. As you can see, as you can imagine, Stourport is on Severn, and that is of course the River Severn. People who are local, of course, to here will know all this, but I have got quite a few American viewers who've probably never heard of Stourport-on-Severn. If you're from the South Birmingham area of the UK, you'll certainly have almost been here for a day out. There's the kids' playgrounds and all the areas, and that's the bridge over the river. I'm just going to take you around the touristy bits first, and then I'm going to show you an area that many visitors to the town may not have seen before, and which is actually probably the most interesting. Definitely, actually. So this is, as you can see, Bridge Street we're coming up to now. Probably the busiest little part of Stourport, this. I usually film in the mornings, but this is the evening. We've had some appalling weather lately, and the only chance I've had is now. The sun's come out and I thought, grab the chance. So here we are going down to the bridge, the famous bridge over the river. There it is. Now if I turn off left here, I'll show you why most of the people come to Stourport. And there it is. Because this town may be right in the middle of the UK, nowhere near the sea, but it's got its own amusement park, as you can see there, with the dodgems and the shark. Oh, we've got a chap here, another biker here, and that is there's the river there, and you can pass through there to go to the crazy golf course and have a walk along the river itself, along there, as you can see into the distance. And the amusement park here, with all the fun of the fair. So that's what attracts most of the visitors to the town during the summer, and it is packed at times. But I'll show you some of the other parts. Maybe you may have been here in the past, but actually be unaware of some of the other parts. But in particular, a very special place. It's around about a mile outside the town, which is a very important nature reserve, and makes you feel like you're at the seaside. So that's coming up in just a minute, but just before that I'm going to show you the basin Stourport is actually a Georgian town, built in Georgian times, and it became, its existence came about due to the fact that the Worcestershire and Staffordshire Canal and the river, it's where the two joined, so it became an inland port where most of the goods into and out of the West Midlands were actually moved. As you can see, the canal there, and here we're going into the basins area, and this is quite beautiful down here actually. As a local we sort of take it for granted, but bear in mind this is 70-80 miles from the sea. And there you go, that's Stourport Basin. Loads of boats, loads of barges, and of course even yachts, as you can see. And on this side they've now built some rather nice apartments, some luxury apartments with their own mooring facilities, as you can see there. I'll just take you around by the wharf here. You can just have a little look. There's all the canal boats, as you can see, parked. Just caught a stone there. And that's the wharf, and as you can see the canal comes in from there into this basin area, and then the river is accessed from here, and I'll show you where that comes about. For this urban exploring, the CL is just brilliant. So easy to handle, you can just flick it around as if you're on a push bike. It's marvellous. So we're going down now, and as you can see in front, this is the Tontine, which used to be a huge pub, and there's the basin area that lowers the boats from canal level down to river level, or vice versa, of course. Lovely little area. I'll just do a little spin round in the there's the river. Just do a little spin round in the car park. Again, so easy to do, he says, despite all the adverse camber. There we go. There's the River Severn, which for, I know I've got a lot of American viewers, it's England's longest river, and all the goods used to come here or be shipped down to this area and then get onto the river from the canal system. And that's how Stourport grew. Started out as just a few houses and ended up a small town. There's the basin. As you can see, quite a few boats in there. But right now I'm going to take you to, most people who visit Stourport will probably have visited the basin, but I don't think many will have visited this next place we're going to go to. I mean, you may have. If you're local, you'll know all about it. But some of our visitors from the Midlands probably don't know that this is just down the road. I'll keep the camera rolling so you can see just how far away it is from the main town centre. New houses there. But it's not even a mile away, I wouldn't say. And we have a nature reserve, and it's a very special one. It's a habitat which is extremely rare and protected. And it's just along here. It's called Huckleberry Common. So what we'll do is park up in the little car park just along here, and I'll show you what Huckleberry Common is all about and why it's a protected area. So this really is Huckleberry Common now, from now on. These houses were built before, obviously for protected special habitats, and this road was. And we'll pull in here and I'll show you exactly what Huckleberry Common is all about. Right, so here we are, and this is Huckleberry Common, and as you can see, it's a completely fenced off area, a fenced off enclosure with cattle in it. Do not feed the cattle or pester them. Well, I think at the moment there are no cattle in actual fact, but I'm going to take you across now and show you why this is a protected area. And through these trees here, you'll begin to see why I said this is like visiting the seaside. Oh, the things I do for you, YouTube. And here we have it. And as you can see, what we have is a lot of sand. And this is Huckleberry Common. And the sand quality here is actually just like being at the seaside. It really is. It's an amazing place. It's like you've sort of stepped into a completely different area, different environment altogether. Literally, well, about a mile from the town centre. And as a kid, I used to come here and build sandcastles. As you can imagine, it's quite a huge area actually. And you can see this sand, it's very wet today. It's only just stopped after a lot of rain, but it's already drying out. And this isn't gravelly sand, this is real proper seasidey sand. I'll show you. It really is proper sand. And this whole area is extremely unusual. And apparently there are over 100 species of rare moths that live here, amongst other things. And the whole thing was created 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. And when the ice retreated, this is what was left from underneath the ice cap. All the bedrock had been ground down to sand. And you go right up onto the top there, under the trees, and there's huge, a lot of distance beyond there as well, right up the top there. You can walk for miles, and it's sand underfoot all the way. It's beautiful. As I said, it's been protected now, but in my day when I was a lad, you'd see motorbikes tearing across here. This is where many people cut their motorcycling careers. They started here on scramblers, as you can imagine, in the sand dunes. But sadly, no more. But it's a good thing, because this needs to be protected. It's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, before it was all fenced off and protected, many a young person learned to ride along these sand dunes. And sand dunes are, they're not unusual in themselves. It's just the location of this. We're sort of 80 miles or more from the nearest sea here, as inland in England as you can be. So there we are, Huckleberry Common. So we pop back to the bike now, and I'll show you a few other little things. So maybe if you come to Stourport next time to go to the fair, you'll also come and build some sandcastles just outside of the town. Not a bad mix, is it, for a day out? And the kids will love it. So off we go. Listen, as you can imagine, I used to visit Huckleberry Common as a kid. I used to ride down on my push bike. I lived only about 2 miles away from there, and I used to have an absolutely great time. Let's cut across here, and we used to ride our push bikes around, but I never got to ride a motorcycle on there. Good job, really. I'd have been ashamed now of damaging the environment there. But it would have been a lot of fun. It was on a push bike, but sand is hopeless on a push bike, isn't it? So there we go, that's Stourport-on-Severn. Back into the town now. It really is that close to Huckleberry Common. And you can imagine why, with the river, the amusement park, all the riverside walks, why it was such a popular destination, and still is, for people from the Midlands, from the city, particularly Birmingham, to come and visit. Well, I don't know how many of them ended up in Huckleberry Common. I suspect not that many, actually. I suspect that not so many people knew about it or realised how beautiful it was. There we go. I'm going to go back home this way. God, the little CL loves this sort of thing. It loves the lanes, but it's also great on this little urban commutey type of road as well. So agile. It's absolutely perfect for this sort of thing. Flicking between the traffic. I was thinking a couple of days ago, actually, how long has it been since I've had so much fun, such an easy to ride bike. And I think it's the last bike that I had that was comparable to this in terms of just ease of riding and flickability and all those things I've spoken about, was probably my sports moped. Now, I wasn't a fizzy guy. I wasn't FS1E Yamaha. I was an AP50 Suzuki man back in the day when I was 16. And I used to tear through Stourport-on-Severn, trying to scrape the pedals on the ground, I'm ashamed to say. But this bike, this CL, gives you that same sort of, it's reminiscent of that, because it's so light, so flickable, so easy to ride. It's like an AP50, but with sort of 10 times the power. Well, certainly not 10 times the weight. Just like when we used to ride the sports mopeds, we sort of rode them in the same way as we used to our push bikes. We'd sort of ride them anywhere, go up and down curbs, you just go up lanes, you park anywhere, just like you would on a push bike. Because we were 16, and this bike sort of has got that same accessibility about it. You know, that ease of use, it almost takes you back to your childhood, and that's got to be a good thing, isn't it? There really is something to be said for how a bike that's this light and easy to maneuver, how it makes you feel. Sorry if my words occasionally I get them wrong, but It's really strange when you're riding a bike and you're concentrating on it. Your ability to speak goes out the window occasionally. I think my brain goes into overload. Right, a bit of filtering now maybe. Yeah, why not? We're narrow enough. Gives you that confidence, and the balance is so good on this. So I hope you've enjoyed that little ride around Stourport-on-Severn. Just up to the right there, you can see Burlish written on that signpost. That is actually up towards a place called Burlish Top. And if you're interested in the Second World War, that's a very significant, well, quite a significant little place in the history of the Second World War. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it has its place in the history of the Second World War, which I might do a little video about if you're interested. If you're interested in that, drop it in the comments, please. But it's actually the place where General Patton, the legendary American general, addressed the troops, and it's actually over there. Can't really point it out now, but it's over that away. A place called Bewdley Camp, which is now called Burlish Top, and it's where he addressed the troops about a week or so before D-Day. And as you know, General Patton died a few months later in Germany, I believe, or France. So it was one of the, and he made an epic speech right there on Burlish Top. And there's a place up there called Patton's Point, which is where he stood as he addressed the troops. It's quite a historical little area, and I will do a video if you're interested, if you'd like to see that, especially if you're obviously from the US. Because the troops that he was addressing were the new recruits who'd come over from America, and he gave his famous Blood and Thunder speech, which became quite infamous. Well, not infamous, famous. And it's from that point there that he made that very famous speech. So if you'd like to see a little video, I could have a ride out on the CL and we'll go up to Patton's Point. If you'd like to see that, please drop it in the comments. So right then, that's all from me. Thanks very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little trip around Stourport. And just glad the weather's changed so I can actually get out on the bike again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.